Okay, I'm going to try to do this at work. So, where am I at? This is a weigh-in video. Feels so strange to do a weigh-in video on Friday, but I actually weighed in yesterday evening, so yeah, it's a late weigh-in video. Okay, as you all know, I normally weigh in Saturday at 7:30 in the morning, and yesterday at 6:15 in the evening, I weighed in. And because one, it wasn't even a whole week, and two, it was an evening weigh-in, I was hoping for a maintain and expecting a gain, and I had told myself anything less than 1.5 pounds I'll be happy with. I actually lost 0.8, which is pretty, I'm excited. I'm happy about that. That's awesome. So my total loss, this is the 49th week, and my total loss is 98.5 pounds. My weight is 156.6. Oh my gosh. So that's really cool and really awesome. Okay. Trying to gather my thoughts. I've had caffeine, so I'm a little woo, and I have a lot going on with the race and everything, so I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Okay. Trying to stay hydrated. Just, I don't know if I've ever showed you guys this, but I schedule my water, cup 1, 8:50 to 9:10, I'm getting it done. So I schedule my water. This is a must stick to schedule. Right now, cup number 6, or actually 7, was supposed to start at 1:25 and be done by 1:45, but I'm actually on it right now, so I'm early. And I like to stay ahead of schedule, but I schedule my water. And I'm scheduling myself twice as much, trying to stay ultra hydrated, because we have the 10K tomorrow. And yeah, what else? There's more. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I'm going kind of bananas. All right, I just finished The Hunger Games by Susan Collins and loved it. It's an easy read. It's like an 8th grade young adult, young adult read, but it's really, really good. I really liked it. It kind of has the same type of feel to it as Maximum Ride by James Patterson, I think it is. But I find it better. I find the main... Okay. When I was young, I was an extraordinary fan of Sailor Moon. Believe that or not. And the thing was that I hated Sailor Moon herself. And I watched it for all the other characters and dealt with her. I felt like she was whiny and ridiculous and whatever. So I kind of feel the same way about the Maximum Ride books. I really liked the idea and the storyline, and I like a lot of the characters a lot, but Maximum Ride and some of the other characters kind of start to wear on my nerves, but I feel like it's worth it because it's so easy to read. It's such a quick read. It's just, I really like the premises. Well, this is like that, but the character doesn't annoy me, so that's good. I really, really enjoyed The Hunger Games, so much so that even though I have a whole bunch of other books, I have L.A. Candy, the next L.A. Candy novel by Lauren Conrad. I have the next Christopher Moore book that I've already read, but I got on my Kindle. I have a couple of miscellaneous books I've picked up here and there, and Water for Elephants that I need to read or want to read, plus 2 for my Buzz reviews, 2 books on my Kindle. But I still went ahead and downloaded the next 2 for the trilogy of The Hunger Games because I was like, oh no, I have to finish this. And they're easy. I should have them done probably by Easter to the first plane ride. But if you like to read and you're interested, you should look them up and maybe read them. They're fun. Then, okay, let's go back to food. So I have the race coming up, and here's the situation. We're going to go kind of off. Way back when Weight Watchers switched up the plan. I had a very hard time. I eat carbs. I do. I have learned through Lose It that my carb usage is probably 55 to 65% of my calories. And then my fat is probably like around 20%. And my protein is around, 20%. Like, however it's going to add up, but like they're lower. And the new program really hits carbohydrates hard, which is fine, but I eat a lot of healthy, good carbohydrates. And I found that with the lower carbohydrates, I was insane with hunger. I was depressed and sad, feeling deprived, feeling just like this is not going to happen. I can't do this. And I made the conscious decision to figure out what works for me, because I really feel like when you are feeding your body and you are taking care of yourself, you should not feel constantly hungry, which is why I always stress that in the beginning, I just cut everything. And it was like everything. I was so strict and I was hungry all the time, but it wasn't real hunger. And you really have to go through that to figure out what your body really is telling you. And a lot of people were like, well, they start a diet and it's like, well, Fridays are going to be my cheat days. And so all week long, they're like crazy hungry and they eat whatever they want on Friday. And then all week long, and they never actually give themselves the full purge to get all of the chemicals and all of the sugar and everything out of their system. They're never actually going through it. They're like kind of harming themselves by like reintroducing that food on the Friday or whatever. But if you really push through 3 to 6 months of eating really clean and not giving into those cravings, you start to figure out the difference between an impulse and a craving, and you start to figure out the difference between real hunger and brain hunger and habit hunger and emotional hunger. And those things are so important to this, because you really should not feel hungry all the time. But, I have found that since then, I can actually listen to my body. And my body was like, this is not working. You need carbs or you're going to go bananas. And I felt a little bad about that. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to what I was doing and tweak it. That's how I wound up calorie counting, because I was like, all right, so now I don't get an extra bunch of points or calories to deal with every week. I don't get to have something that's 10 calories and not count it because it's not a point. I count everything, which is, I think, why I'm having success the way I have it. But anyway, so I eat carbs, what I keep saying. And I run, and y'all know, like, that's my preferred exercise. I love to run and I love to Zumba. Well, I was doing some reading about how to eat before you do like a 10K, and it said, well, you should pretty much just stick to your runner's diet, and a runner's diet should be made up of 60% good carbs, 25% fat, and 15% protein. And I was like, wow, it's crazy that through listening to my body, I'm already kind of on that path, because that's what my body was needing. And I was actually able to figure that out, because for so long I was so confused about the disconnect between what I needed and what I was doing to myself. So I just think it's really awesome when you can get what you need. And I have a friend who has been on Weight Watchers for years and not lost weight, and she said that she recently, I love Weight Watchers, let me say this, I love Weight Watchers, but I do think you need to find what works for you. I still go to my meetings. That is an integral part of my losing weight, my meetings, and my tracking and stuff. But I also have worked things out for myself, and I feel like that's really important. And she was like, I just started to read books and look into other options, because something had to give. I had to do something different. And she found a food program that she's sticking to. I don't know enough to tell you about it, but she said that for the first time in over 4 years, she doesn't feel hungry, when she goes to bed and she doesn't wake up hungry. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could have gone this long feeling like that and not having success. I was honestly able to get through the first 3 months of feeling starved because I was losing weight. And the next 3 months I was starting to feel better. And I had success the entire, I don't know if I could, because I don't actually know even if I was feeling successful if I'd be able to do it, because seriously, that's a horrible feeling. And I feel like if you're balanced and you're doing things correctly and you're hearing the real voice, like of your stomach and your body, not the head voice, then you shouldn't feel hungry all the time. You should find something that works. And that's been something that I've been in my head spinning wheels on. And then, like last meeting, I was reading some paperwork and it was like, if you are constantly hungry, talk to your leader because something is wrong. I was like, snap. Yeah. So there's my thing. Week 49, lost 98.5. I can go back. I found my other tracker. I can go back and tell you what I've eaten every day for the past 49 weeks. Tracking, working out, finding what works for you. Yeah, and reading good books.